There's so much going on in the country right now. People are dealing with this in their own ways. Some are taking this to the streets in peaceful protests. Others are going to social media and spreading awareness that way. A lot of people are donating and joining or starting organizations for the causes that are important to them. And other people are just waiting for the politicians to take a stand. Well, I have 3 pieces of advice for people that don't just want to wait on the politicians to do their jobs. Number 1, further segregation is not the answer. Support small businesses in your neighborhood and online because you should, not so that you can use the hashtag Black owned. It doesn't matter if it's Hispanic owned, if it's Indian owned, Asian owned, or Black owned. We need to make sure that we are supporting the small businesses in our sphere to help keep the economy going. We should always be doing this. But remember, we're better together, and further segregation is not the answer. My second piece of advice is make a friend who looks different than you. How are you supposed to, on both sides of the situation, how are you supposed to have compassion for another group of people if all you know, all you talk to, all that you care about are the people around you who look just like you do? We need to reach across the lines, as Mike Todd says, and build relationships with people who don't look just like us. That's how we get to know their lives, get an understanding of each other. And then once we're connected, once you have some friendship, some kind of relationship, then you can ask questions. That's how relationship builds. That's how compassion builds. That's how knowledge builds. You can ask questions and understand each other, and that's how we'll make sure that there's more compassion among different spheres of people, because we're not just all focused on our own, on ourselves. Compassion starts with relationships, and that's one of the real ways that you can make a change in people's hearts. Get to know someone that doesn't look just like you. And once you make one, make another friend like that, and keep going until your circle looks as diverse as we want the world to look. The third and most important piece of advice is to get your education. Not everybody needs to be in the streets getting arrested at protests. Some of us need to make sure that we're able to put ourselves in a position of power to make the change that we want to see, to be the change that we want to see. That's real change from the inside out. Little boys and little girls need people to look up to that are good role models. There are classmates in that school or college and coworkers in that place of employment that just don't get it, and they need you to be there to help them understand. Being able to have relationships with the people in these positions of power is what's important. But how can we help them understand our plight if we're not there at their sides explaining it? We need to make sure that when we're in these positions, in these roles, that we don't conform to how things are done, but we make sure that we remember we're there for diversity, to make sure that people that look like you are able to be seen and heard. We need more minority doctors, teachers, policemen, TV show producers, CEOs, presidents, politicians. And you can't just wait on somebody else to do it. You can do it. Make sure you're letting the children in your life know that they are more important than just the color of their skin, but that they have to make sure that they are putting themselves in a place where the color of their skin is not going to determine what happens to them. Make sure that they know that they can make and be the change that they want to see. But get your education. We have to remember, it's not all about the brawn. Use your brain. I hope that for some people this was helpful. For me, it was cathartic. Just really thinking about other ways that we can make a real impact besides just being words on a post and voices in a video, but making actual real change. And a lot of times, as a lot of people already know, change comes slowly, but change can happen. Clearly, I'm not sitting here in chains in a plantation somewhere. So we have to make sure that we're progressing forward and not regressing backward. And we have to make sure that we're remembering that a lot of this is about a heart change. And hearts don't change without compassion. And compassion doesn't come without relationship. So remember, we're in this together. We're going to get through this together. So thank you for listening. And I hope this helped.